So what we're going to move into now is going to be some of the conditions that we find commonly in the foot, and I've outlined just a few of them. There's, of course, going to be some overlap between a lot of these conditions, but I do have them in their own categories. So skin conditions, the Achilles tendon, arthritis, bunions, Charcot-Marie-Tooth, which is a neurological condition. Heel fissures technically falls under the skin conditions, but it's sort of treated independently as well of what does come up within the skin. Plantar fasciitis and heel spurs, very, very similar in terms of diagnoses. The difference being that plantar fasciitis is a soft tissue infection, whereas heel spur is a bony deformity that originates in the calcaneus, and one can lead from the other. So that's why they're kind of categorized. And I am going to discuss plantar fasciitis in great length today, and they might lead into a heel spur discussion as well. Digital deformities, which is the toes, clawing of the toes. Metatarsalgia has to do with the met heads. Mort's is in the forefoot. Neuropathy, post-tib tendonitis has to do with leg, ankle, foot movements. Pregnancy, you may encounter a lot of patients who fall into this category, so you just need to know how to handle that situation. Sesamoiditis technically falls under this category here. Metatarsalgia, and I'll go over that. Shin splints, again, is more leg involvement. Sometimes there's an overlap between post-tib tendonitis and shin splints, but shin splints is much, much more common than the post-tib tendonitis. You see that almost on a daily basis with a lot of patients. Post-tib, I think we talked briefly about that in the previous session regarding the ankle and diagnosis around the ankle. Diabetic foot is a huge, huge topic, which we'll get to later on. And of course, foot types. We've gone over that quite in depth previously in regards to a pes planus, pes cavus foot type, a neutral foot type. Well, this is going to be more of a discussion on foot types in terms of your diagnosing abilities during your assessment times, and then foot types in relation to the type of orthotic that will be provided or dispensed. Nail conditions don't really affect or not really involved in the diagnosing of orthotics or custom orthotics for a condition, but it is something that you will see quite regularly in patients, and it's always a good idea to have a good understanding of those. So now we're going to start with the skin, callus, corn presentations. I want to start with this because this is, now what you have to start doing is mapping out in terms of assessing. When you do have a patient in front of you, what path or what route do you take now to assess a patient, and what sort of criteria or checklist you have in your mind that you're going over now. So when I'm doing that, the first thing I look at is the skin. The skin actually is a great indication. To me, it indicates so many things that are going on within the foot. I don't have to ask the patient a single question in some cases, just by examining the plantar aspect of the foot. Primarily, the indication part of it is going to be on the plantar side. But when I do examine the plantar aspect of the foot, I can pretty much piece together what sort of biomechanical abnormality they're having, therefore what problems or pains they may be having because of that. And then, of course, I have already a pretty good idea in my mind the type of orthotic to be designed or type of therapy that the patient is going to need to address it. So just going over the points here. So skin is a great indicator of pressure points upon the plantar aspect of the foot. Thickened skin is known as callus, and it will in areas of abnormal high pressure or high amounts of pressure. So now normal skin, so I just want you to get an understanding here. Now normal skin or skin cells, what happens is their skin cells are constantly dying out and then being replaced very, very quickly. And so there is a period called the desquamation period of skin cells, which